All right, let's talk about something that isn't just another tech trend. We're going to dive into what's becoming the real engine of the entire AI industry, Agentic AI. And the thing is, this is a massive, fundamental shift, and it's happening way faster than most people think.
To really get a sense of the scale here, just look at this number, $93 billion. That is the projected size of the AI agentic market in just the next few years. And get this, it's exploding from about $8 billion today. This isn't hype, you guys. This is an economic tidal wave that's already forming.
So what is this $93 billion idea? What in the world is an agentic workflow? Well, to really understand it, we first have to talk about the tools we're all using right now and see where they're basically hitting a brick wall.
And that brick wall? A lot of people are calling it the automation ceiling. It's that point where our current tools just can't take us any further. In fact, they're actually starting to hold us back.
You know, if you've ever used a tool like Zapier, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to manually map out every single step. You connect this to that, you define all the rules. It's super rigid. And it works, right? Well, it works until it hits one tiny, unexpected thing, and then the whole thing just breaks. And when it breaks, a human, that's you, has to go in and fix it. And that costs time, and of course, that costs money.
Okay, here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you're laying a train track. Traditional automation? That's you, on your hands and knees, placing every single piece of that track by yourself. An agentic workflow, on the other hand, is like giving a blueprint to a construction crew. You just say, hey, I need a track from point A to point B, and they figure out how to build it, solving all the problems that pop up along the way.
And that difference in approach, that right there, that's what's creating this absolutely massive opportunity. This isn't some theoretical idea anymore. We're talking about real money pouring into this tech because the real-world advantages are just so obvious.
I mean, the speed of this shift is just wild. We are going from an $8 billion market today to a projected $40 or $50 billion by 2030, and then all the way up to $93 billion right after that. We are literally watching an entire industry get built right before our eyes. And listen, this isn't just a startup thing either. About a quarter of all big companies are already experimenting with agentic AI this year. By 2027, and that's just a couple years away, folks, that number is expected to hit 50%. Half of all major companies will be running these systems. Think about the domain that's going to create for people who know how to build them.
Okay, so that's the theory and the market data. That's the big picture. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's walk through a case study and see how this goes from just a simple idea to a fully finished product.
It all started with this. Just one sentence, a simple prompt written in plain English. No complicated code, no flowcharts, no mapping out 100 steps, just a clear goal. And from that one sentence, this entire complex workflow just kicked into gear.
So the AI agent took that prompt and immediately broke it down into logical steps. Do the research, create some visuals, put the email together. But the real magic, the part that changes everything, is step 4, its ability to self-correct. It didn't just blindly follow a script. It was diagnosing and fixing problems as they happened.
Now this is the mind-blowing part. So an API it needed to use had changed. The agent didn't just break. It went online, it searched for the new documentation, and it updated its own tool to fix the problem. And when the first draft of the email came out looking terrible, it diagnosed the bad formatting and just redesigned it on the spot. All of that with zero human help.
So this incredible power to not just build something, but to solve problems while you're building it, that changes the whole game. It completely changes what it means to have a valuable skill in this new world. And that brings us to our final and probably most important analogy.
I want you to ask yourself, are you the pharmacist or are you the doctor? See, a pharmacist just fills a prescription that somebody else wrote. They're executing a task. But a doctor first diagnoses the underlying problem and then prescribes the solution. The value isn't just in doing the task. The real value is in the diagnosis.
Because look, building the AI itself, that's getting easier every single day. That part is quickly becoming a commodity. If you're only competing on your ability to build stuff, you're going to be in a race to the bottom on price. The real lasting value is in identifying a business's actual problems and then using these powerful tools to solve them.
And this is exactly why how you price your work has to completely change. Think about it. If you build a workflow in 30 minutes that saves a company 20 hours a week, is that a 30-minute job? Of course not. That's tens of thousands of dollars in value you just delivered.
Your time spent building has almost nothing to do with the value you created.
When you charge an hourly rate, you're putting an artificial ceiling on what you can earn. There are only so many hours in a day, right? But when you start pricing your work based on the value you deliver, the return on investment for your client, well, now your potential scales right alongside your impact. It's a huge win for them, and it's a huge win for you.
So let's just recap the big takeaways here. First, Agentic AI is a fundamental evolution. It is not a fad. Second, its superpower is solving problems on the fly as it works. That means the real opportunity for you isn't just building things. It's being that doctor who diagnoses the business problem. And finally, that shift allows you to price your work based on the massive value you create, not the minutes it takes you.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The AI is getting unbelievably good at building the what, the tool, the workflow, the final product. The real question you have to ask yourself is, can you be the one who figures out the why? Because that's where the future is. Thanks for tuning in.